My mom and dad are gonna be so
How's it going, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today I'm going to be ranking all of the Scream movies with the release of Scream 6 earlier this year. I thought now would be a good time to kind of go over all the movies and kind of give my thoughts on all of them and rank them from worst to best. Now this is an interesting franchise because, to be honest, I kind of feel the same about most of these movies. Now there's definitely a clear bad Scream movie in my opinion, and then there's definitely a clear winner in my opinion, but all the stuff in between I kind of think is just the same. But I do like this franchise. I'm not like a mega fan of it or anything, but I can kind of understand why people love this franchise so much because it is relatively revolutionary for the horror genre, especially at the time when it came out in 96. But we'll talk about all that in this video. But let's start off with my least favorite Scream film. And I would have to say that is Scream 5. Well, it's actually not called Scream 5. It's just called Scream. This was the reboot that came out just last year, and I don't know, something about it, I didn't entirely vibe with it. I think part of the reason is it kind of took me a while to warm up to these new characters. Some of the older characters were a little bit sidelined in this movie, I felt like, and I mean, they do still play a pivotal role in the film. And we have Sydney in this movie, and she's not in Scream 6, so that was disappointing, but at least she's in this one. I will say, though, Dewey's death was very sad, and I don't know if it was exactly needed, but I'm not, like, against him dying or anything, but I just love Dewey. Everyone loves Dewey, of course, so that was just kind of tragic. I thought the Ghostface's reveal was pretty decent, but I think some of the commentary on reboots and whatnot kind of came off a bit cringe, if we're being honest. I don't think this is an awful film, but it's definitely my least favorite, and that may or may not be a hot take, but there you guys go. That's my least favorite Scream film. But at number 5, next up we have Scream 3. Now, this one is just ever so slightly better than the 5th film, in my opinion. It's not entirely amazing. I do like the Hollywood location, and kind of that one moment, I will say, where Sydney is on that set and she's kind of reliving her past trauma. Obviously, it's like a physical replica of her old house. And then Ghostface pops out, and it's, he kind of gets, he chases her through the house. And it's just like such a traumatic experience for her on multiple levels because she's like reliving it. And then Ghostface is there again. And it's like, oh man. And I also like this one because it's the only Scream film in the franchise that has one killer. Obviously, that being Sydney's half-brother. And I think that's pretty cool, to be honest. Some people might be against that idea. I think some people definitely think maybe there should always be 2 Ghostface killers. But I don't know. I think one is interesting. I also like the scene where they're all in the house and on the fax machine, it's kind of printing out the script of the movie and Ghostface is kind of rewriting the movie. And then they realize it's a trap and they have to get out of the house and the house explodes. And that's a pretty fun, thrilling sequence. I enjoy that part of the movie. But, overall, this film isn't anything special. And, if I'm going to rewatch a Scream movie, it's not going to be this one. It just isn't. But anyway, at number 4, I have Scream 6, the newest entry in the franchise. Now, I did a whole review for this movie recently, just last week. And so if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts, then you can kind of watch that. It's about a 10-minute video, so you can kind of understand what I'm getting at here. But basically all I mentioned is a brief rundown of what I mentioned in that video is that I do really like the New York location. I will say it wasn't entirely utilized properly. There definitely are moments that I enjoyed, especially the subway sequence where you don't really know which Ghostface is the real Ghostface. That was very good, to be honest. I really enjoyed that scene. Also, the ladder scene where they're crawling to the other apartment and then that one girl falls off tragically and hits the dumpster. Man, that was upsetting, to be honest. I didn't really want her to go, but that was brutal. And it's a very bloody movie. It's a lot of people were saying it's one of the bloodiest Scream films. I don't know about that, but it was very fun. And overall, if I had to say something about this movie, it's a very fun film. It's probably one of the most fun Scream movies, if we're being honest. But it's ranked here At number 4, only because I just think the other Scream films are better than it. And, I will say, though, the triple killers was a cool reveal. I think this is the only Scream movie with 3 killers. So that's pretty unique. I will say, and also, like, that whole reveal, like, the people who actually were the Ghostface killers, wasn't expecting that to happen. Especially Ethan. Man, I was not expecting him to be, especially because they make you want him, they make you want to trust him throughout the whole movie. And, like, that he's just a sweet guy. He's not, though. And that was really awesome. Also, Kirby returns in this movie, so that's fantastic. And, it's a good movie. I like the movie for sure. But what it comes down to is that I do believe the movie's above this. I would rather rewatch. It's as simple as that. But anyway, at number 3, I have Scream 2. Now, this is one of the best openings in any of the Scream franchises, in my opinion. That might be a hot take, but I really loved that scene at the theater with Jada Pinkett Smith's character. She gets stabbed, and that was a great scene. Maybe it's just because I like movie theater settings, but like they're watching the stab movie, and then that is a very intense scene. I feel like I really enjoyed that. Also, it has that great scene where we have Sydney crawling out of the car, and she has to like crawl over Ghostface's body. Man, that is so intense. That whole sequence is, honestly, one of the best sequences in the entire Scream franchise as well. And I don't know. I think this is another decent movie. I think it's fun. As far as sequels go, obviously there's going to be sequel commentary in this movie, and there is. And, I think that's all fun and well. It's not like an amazing movie, but yeah, it's pretty good. I have a fun time with this one. But anyway, at number 2, I have Scream 4. Maybe a hot take as well. But I know Scream 4 definitely has its fan base. Now, I kind of have a bit of a history with this movie in terms of this was actually the first Scream movie I ever saw. I'm not gonna lie, it was came out in 2011, so I was about 9 years old, and I saw it not in the theater when it was on. It went to cable, it went to TV, but I was watching it on TV when I was young and being like, I was scarred by this movie, to be honest. Should not have been watching that at this age, and so I kind of have like a nostalgic factor with this movie. And I think it's actually one of the scarier Scream films. That could just be the fact that I saw this when I was far too young. But it's got a great cast. I love Emma Roberts' character. And obviously was one of the Ghostface killers. That was a great reveal. And Rory Culkin, one of the Culkin brothers, he was also the other Ghostface. And that was a great scene. And where Emma Roberts' character, I think her name's Jill, she has to ram herself onto the table and into the wall to make it seem like she's been victimized as well, and she has to bloody herself up. That is one of the most unhinged scenes I've ever seen. It is hilarious, and also the introduction of Kirby in this, and she returns in Scream 6. But I think Kirby's better in this movie. I don't think that's a hot take, but yeah. But yeah, it was also the last Scream film directed by Wes Craven. And I think for that, it's kind of holds a little bit of a special place in my heart for some reason. I don't know. I think this is a good time. I think it's spooky. And yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot. And it's my second favorite. But at number 1, my most favorite Scream film, of course, is Scream from 1996. I mean, what is there to say, really? It's iconic. It's definitely revolutionary for the horror genre. I do think it's slightly overrated, though, if we're being honest. That's just me because, I was born in 2003. I was born well after this movie came out. But, if you were the right age viewing this movie in 96 and had never seen anything like it before, and it's kind of a very meta take on the horror genre, I can understand why people love it so much. And I definitely like it, of course. I think it's a good movie, and I completely understand the hype around it, but it's not one of my all-time favorite horror movies. That might upset some people, but I still like the movie a lot. You got Billy Loomis here. He's an iconic villain. He's an iconic antagonist in, honestly, I'd just say film history, to be honest. Him and Stu are just hilarious. There's a lot of funny moments with them in this movie, especially towards the end. And I don't know, this is just an incredibly entertaining. I mean, the iconic opening scene with Drew Barrymore getting killed, that is also probably the scariest scene in the Scream franchise. And, it just kind of introduces us to all these characters, Sidney, Gale, Dewey. It's great. It's a solid movie. And it's without a doubt my favorite Scream film. I'd be surprised if anyone says there's a better one than this. I'm sure some people do say there's, this isn't the best one, but for me it is. It works, and I understand why people love it so much and hold it so near and dear to their heart. But if I had a list like my favorite horror movies, it's not going to be like in my top 10. But yeah, so that's just kind of like my brief thoughts on the Scream franchise. I haven't really talked about the Scream franchise on this channel before, apart from the review for Scream 6 I did a week ago. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted to do this video so you can guys kind of hear my brief thoughts on each movie. They kind of all run together, if we're being honest, for me, especially because going into Scream 5, I binged the first 4 for the first time. And but yeah, I mean, I do have a good experience with these movies whenever I do watch them, for the most part. And yeah, so that's just kind of my opinions. Let me hear your thoughts on this list. Might be controversial, but also just let me hear your ranking of all the movies down in the comments below, because I'm definitely curious to see like what you guys have to say, where you put what, just because obviously we probably are going to be having differing opinions. And I'd be interested to see if you have like some hot takes or something. Maybe you thought the first Scream's like the worst one. I don't know. That'd be interesting. But yeah, let me hear all your thoughts and comments down below. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and check out my Letterboxd and Twitter. Oh, they make fun of people who have Letterboxd in Scream 6. Sorry. But yeah, check out my Letterboxd and Twitter down in the description. I'd appreciate it. I'll follow back, perhaps. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.